Om Sahanavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Shanti 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 Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Veda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Shri Harim Paramanandam Upadeshtaramishwaram Vyapakam Sarvalokanam Karanam Tam Namamyaham Aparokṣānubhūtirvai Prochyate Moksha Siddhaye Sadbhireva Prayatnena Vikshaniya Muhurmuhu. In the verse 23, the author said, Dehoham ityam mudha dhrutva tishtatyaho janaha. Oh, what a surprise it is, or a pity it is also. This mudho janaha, this deluded, ignorant person, which includes everybody, dehohamitam tishtati. He seems to be contented, settled, resolved. Dehoham, that I am the body. So look at the tragedy in life, that this ignorant person who is really deluded, nevertheless does not know at all that there is delusion in life. And therefore he is content, resolved, satisfied about his or her own perception of the self, dehoham, that I am the body. So this person entertains this perception, this opinion, this conclusion about the self, and if that conclusion made him unhappy, created some restlessness in him, some questions in him, then he would have questioned that conclusion. Then he would have asked himself that I take the body to be myself. Is it the reality of myself? That this thing doesn't happen. He does not question his conclusion, does not question his perception of himself, and lives his life based on that. In fact, why should a question arise about my conclusion? Is there something which should prompt me to ask this question whether my conclusion is right or not? He says, well, mamayamiti jnatva. The deha, the body, which he calls I, he also knows that very body as mine. If that did not happen, meaning that if body was always I, then of course we can say that there is no occasion for him to even question his conclusion about himself. For a number of occasions he claims his body to be mine, meaning that there are times when he says, this is my body. When he says that, it reveals on his part a wisdom that I am the possessor of the body and therefore I am not the body. So these contradictory things are there. You see, there is no question. Suppose the sky is blue. There never is an occasion to ask whether it is blue or not, because we don't see it otherwise. We find the sun rising and setting and consistently find it, so then there is no question, oh no, it is part of ordinary people to inquire whether our conclusion is right or wrong. It will require some scientists of a very high order to ask even, questions of what are taken for granted. So I think it's quite in order to take for granted the conclusions which do not present any contradictions, like the sun rising, the sun setting, the sky is blue, and so on and so forth. But here, that I am the body, this conclusion very often is contradicted by myself when I say this is my body. So when I say this is my body, which means I declare that I am the possessor of the body, should that not become the occasion to ask me, how can I call this body as I? Because Gadadrashtaiva, I call this part as mine. I never call the part as I. So I also have experience that all those things that I call mine, I do not call them I. Because I know that what is mine is different from me. So whenever I keep on calling the body as I, why do I not question it? Because on so many occasions I call the body as mine. So that is why Mudha. We cannot be called Mudha or deluded when we say that sun rises and sun sets, because we have no reason to question that, you follow? If someday the sun rose in the west and set in the east, then we say, wait a minute, why is it happening like this? So if sometimes things happen differently, then we question. Otherwise we don't question. In case of this conclusion that I am the body, things are happening differently. In my own perception about body changes. That body which I normally call I, there are occasions when I call this body as mine. And that is very clear that I am not the body. So even though there is this opportunity for this person to recognize that this conclusion on my part, that I am the body, cannot be justified on the basis of the experiences that I have, because my experiences are not consistent all the time with the conclusion that I am the body. So you would expect this person to ask this question. He doesn't. Tishtati, rest content, even though there is a ground for questioning this conclusion. Therefore he is called Mudha. He is called a fool or deluded person. So on what basis do you say that I am not the body? Brahmevaham samashanta satchidananda lakshana. If I am not the body, then who am I? Brahmevaham. I am indeed Brahman and nothing else. Brahman of what nature? Samaha. Equally present everywhere. Equal to everything. Equally present everywhere. The self of all. Shantaha. As a result, Shanta. There is no duality. In Brahman, there is no duality. In ornament, there may be duality. The bangle may think that I am different from the earring, etc. But at the level of gold, there is no duality. Brahman is gold, the self of all. No duality. So no conflict, no reason for any conflict. Oh, Shanta, absolutely tranquil. So Brahman is tranquil in absolute sense, but knower of Brahman also becomes tranquil. Because all the causes of agitations have disappeared. Satchidananda Lakshana. Am I body? If body is I, then body should always stay with me. Because what is I? I is that which should always be with me. The nature should always be with me. That's called nature. Meaning the nature of fire is heat, because heat never divorces fire or is always consistent, faithful to fire. They are always together. The sun is bright. Bright is the nature of sun because sun is never without brightness. So also, what can we call my nature? That without which I cannot be. Can this body, can I call it I? The body deserts me. Is not faithful to me. The body is with me in the waking state, all right. But in dream state, this body is not available. It's quite likely that I had full, meal. My stomach is full, overfull. And then I fall asleep and I dream. Is what? I'm a hungry person, did not have food for 3 days. And this stupid body, which I call I, does not come to my aid at all. Meaning that the fullness of the stomach does not become available to me in the dream. So that alone can be called nature, which is consistent, with which I am never separated. But then I get separated from the body. In dream, in deep sleep, how can I call this body as I? Then what is that I am not separated from? Satchidananda Lakshana. Asti bhati priyam, I am never separated. It cannot be that I am not. It cannot be that I am not self-conscious, because to shine is the nature of Atma. And this Asti Bhati have no form, has no attribute, has no distinguishing mark to distinguish from anything else, and therefore there is no duality at all. There is no limitation at all. There is Purnatvam, wholeness, Ananda. Satchidananda Lakshana. So what consistently never deserts me? What is what we may call the infallible, which is trustworthy, which never disappoints me, which never deserts me, which always is faithfully with me, is Asti Bhati Priyam. Satchit Ananda Lakshana. There is all the reason to understand this. Naham deha hyasadrupaha. Sat is my nature, existence is my nature. What's the nature of this body? Can the body claim that I exist? The body appears to exist, all right. But then, is that existence inherent in the body? Or is that existence borrowed from something? The snake claims, I am here. The rope snake appears to exist to the person who has projected the snake. But the existence that appears in the snake Does it really belong to it? Or is it something imparted to it by the rope? Is rope existence that appears in the snake? So even when somebody says, this is snake, that is does not apply to snake, understand? This is snake, is applies to what? To the rope. So what is snake? Hyasadrupaha. One that does not possess its own existence, one which is dependent upon something else for its existence, understand? Like the pot is hyasadrupaha. The pot, the name and form, asadrupaha. Meaning that this pot or name and form, even though we say pot is, when we say pot is, we're in effect saying that the name and form is. But then, does the name and form possess its own isness? Where does the isness come from in name and form? From the clay. So when we say pot is, the is goes where? Is belongs to the clay. Understand this. Not being able to discriminate or separate, we say pot is, and that's how in that sentence the pot and isness are given the same degree of reality. In the grammatical terms, the pot and isness enjoy samanadhikaranyam. Samanadhikaram means they are the same adhikaranam, same locus. When the pot is, where the pot is, there the is. When we when we utter this sentence, in fact, there is no samanadhikaranyam. There is no same locus. What they call vyadhikaranam. Meaning that not in the same adhikaranam. Not in the same locus. Pot and is are not in the same locus. The pot is name and form. Isness belongs to the clay. So really we cannot say pot is. Can we say that? If isness belonged to pot or name and form, then the sentence would be right, pot is. But isness belongs to clay. Unfortunately, when we utter this sentence, pot is, the idea planted in your mind is pot is. That's what language does. That's what words do. When you don't use words properly, then because word creates a concept or notion in your mind. Our Swami used to say in the past, with clay pot, when you use the term clay pot, looks like clay is adjective and pot is substantive. Is it not so? Clay pot? Golden ornament. So gold is adjective, ornament is substantive. Golden bangle. In reality, what's the substance there? In clay pot, what is substantive? What is adjective? What is substantive? That which possesses substance is called substantive, understand? That which possesses substance is called substantive. So this pot which I am holding in my hand, what is substance? What's the weight? What's the smell? What's the taste? What is the substance? Clay. Take away the clay from the so-called pot, what remains there? Nothing. So name and form, what kind of substantiality name and form has? If it did have any substantiality, then it would survive even after removal of clay if the pot and the name and form had some substantiality. Nothing remains. Means that what we call pot understand it is a name and form that we are calling pot. Because before this object was created, we knew that it was in the form of a lump of clay. Before the pot was created, it was in the form of a lump. So we know what the clay is. Now that the pot is created, we know the clay parts. So clay part we had seen before creation, the clay part we see now. So in that clay part no changes happen. And still you call this object a pot. So what changes happen? Well, name and form is added to the clay. Therefore, the word pot belongs where? To name and form, isn't it? Because clay is clay. And when the pot is created, what is created? The name and form is created. When you use the word pot, it belongs where? To name and form. Then you say pot is. But is belongs where? To the clay. When you say clay pot, then looks like the pot is substantive, pot is substance, and clay is adjective. Our Swami says this is a wrong usage. What is the object? Potty clay. Not clay pot. What is it? Potty clay. This is not gold bangle. What is it? Bangly gold. What is it? That would have been the right usage. Then the right idea would have been communicated to us. This is gold, where bangliness is the objective and gold is substance. With a potty clay, then it conveys the idea that clay is a substance and pottiness is the adjective. Incidental. Clay is substance, the abiding aspect, and pottiness is what? An incidental aspect. If this would have been the expression, potty clay, then correct communication would have taken place. When we say clay pot, gold bangle, pot is. So potty isness, then it's a different thing. Instead of saying pot, see when you say pot is, then looks like the isness belongs to pot. Potty is. Potty existence. Existence comes in the form of pot, the form of bangle, etc., etc. Similarly, body is. The snake is. Is doesn't belong to snake, is belongs to rope. So body is. Understand that isness does not belong to body. Isness belongs to self, which is asti bhati priyam. But this expression body is, we are rest content that body is. Aho tishtati janaha. Look at this fellow remains content because the wrong notions, the wrong expressions. Because all expressions are born of the notions. Of a wrong conclusion. There is conclusion about everything that part is. That's the conclusion. I am the body is the conclusion. Body is the conclusion. Naham deho yasadrupaha. I am Satchidananda Lakshanaha. Brahma, Samaha, Shanta. That's what I am. Naham deha. And I am not the body. Clarity about what I am and what I am not. Because we are lumping now. There is no. The reason why we have to say this. The reason why we have to know this, that I am not the body. See, Vedanta does not say you are not the table. Doesn't say that you have to know that I am not the table, I am not the partner, because that Upadesha is not, I already know that. Where is Upadesha necessary? Where I think I know. I think I know who I am the body. So, naham deho yasadrupaha. You know that, asadrupaha. The body, which essentially doesn't enjoy its own existence, Yet you are not. Brahmaivaham samashantaha Satchidananda Lakshana Jnanamutyate Buddhaihi. This is called Jnanam by the wise people. So, O disciple, this is how, not Dehoham. The knowledge, not the body I am, that's not the knowledge. Brahmaivaham samashantaha Satchidananda Lakshana. That I am. Naham deha asadrupa. This body, which is essentially non-existent, I am not. And so in the verse 29 it was said, why do you deny the existence of Atma? People deny the existence of Atma. Which people? Who only accept the perception. We take as real what we see, nothing else. And all we see is the body. So that's the Atma. So conclusion is, there is no Atma, no self other than body. Body is, Atma is. Body is gone, Atma is gone. Or one fellow can go even farther than that. In all the verses there was a denial of what I am not. Nirvikaro, Nirakaro, Niravadyoham, Avyaya. Everywhere what I am not, what I am not, what I am not. Nirmalaha, Nischalaha, Anantaha, Ajaraha, Amaraha, Nirgunaha, Nishkriyaha, Nityaha, Nityamuktaha, Achyudaha, Niramayaha, Nirabhasa, Nirvikalvaha. All this. Looks like that you are describing an entity which is not there. Because in this manner of negation, all possible attributes are negated from self. Now you can add 1500 more sentences also. Or I'm not, meaning with reference each complex that I entertain about myself. Some identification is always involved. I am brother, I am sister, I am father, I am mother, I am this. Everywhere, some conclusion, some identification involved. And you can declare, mother I am not, father I am not, this I am not. How far can you deny so that nothing remains to be denied? I mean, you can keep on, this is called negation. You can keep on negating until a point that nothing remains to be negated. Everything has been negated. All attributes have been negated. What remains? Nothing remains, he says. You negate all the things that we can experience. See, mother I can experience, father I can experience, disease I can experience, duality I can experience, quality I can experience, parts I can experience. All of these are negating. Meaning that you are negating all experienceable things, understand? What remains is nothing. That which I cannot, so he says, that which I cannot experience is not there. What's the proof? What's the proof that Atma is? So far I thought Atma was because I could experience it. Now everything has been denied. So what remains? Nothing remains. So Atma is what? Shunya. So from this assertion or negations, the conclusion is what? Atma Shunya. And therefore the verse 29 says, Swadehe shovanam santam purushakyam cha sammatam. Swadehe, in your body. Hey, what you have denied is what can be denied. But understand that there is something that cannot be denied. As the Swami said, how do you define Satyam? What do you define truth? That which cannot be negated. Abhatitam Satyam. Abaditam, that which cannot be negated. So whatever can be negated is all negated. But regardless of how much negation you carry out, you cannot negate what is not negatable, you understand? You can throw out everything that is possible. You cannot throw out something that is not throwable. What is that? Getting this, I can throw out everything. One thing I cannot throw out. What is that? Myself. I cannot lift myself and throw out myself, can I? Well, so far I have not seen that kind of an achievement. Therefore, yes, there is negation in Vedanta. What the Atma is not. What happens is, when we look at all those negations, looks like everything that exists has been negated. Qualities exist, negated. Parts exist, negated. Birth exists, negated. You seem to have negated everything that exists. So what remains is non-existence. That can be conclusion. So from the teaching of scripture also one can arrive at the conclusion, or already think that there is no Atma. And he only uses all these sentences simply to justify his conclusion. Swadehe shovanam sandam purushakyam jasammadam Naham deho hyasadrupaha. I am not the body which is unreal. Understand that this unreal body is the abode of manifestation of what is real. That's the amazing thing. What is most amazing is that this unreal body, Bhagavan Martyam Vaidam Shariram Mrutyanatam Yadasya Amrutasya Atmanaha Adhishthanam Amrutasya Asharirasya Amrutasya Atmana Adhishthanam. So this is the teaching given by Prajapati, the teacher, to Indra, the disciple, in one of the dialogues in the Chandogya Upanishad. Where Prajapati says, Indra says that Atma dies, I find that the Atma, Atma disappears. In the deep sleep there is no Atma. It all disappears. Vinasham apito bhavati. I find that in deep sleep state, Atma attains a state of non-existence. Because in deep sleep state, I neither know myself, nor do I know anything else. Had I existed at that time, then I would know myself, or something I would know. Deep sleep state, I do not know myself, nor do I know anything other than myself. Therefore, looks like there is no Atma in deep sleep state. Vinasham apito bhavati. Atma seems to attain a state of vinasham as disappearance. Atma disappears. Now what is cannot disappear. What disappears is not really. In that context, Prajapati teaches Bhagavan Martyam Vaidam Shariram. You are right, Indra. There is something that disappears. Something that dies. What is it? Idam Shariram. This body is mortal, is subject to death. Then what role does this body play in our life? Tadasya amrutasya asharirasya atmana adhishthanam. Hey, this body which is mortal, insignificant, unreal, nevertheless is the locus of manifestation of what is real, what is immortal, what is unembodied. The body is the seat of manifestation of the unembodied. Ashariram sharireshu. The mortal body is the seat of manifestation of immortality. And so, don't think, Indra, that this body is you or ultimate reality. Similarly, Swadehe Shobhanam Santam. Your body is not you, that is true. Understand that the body is locus of manifestation or Shobhanam, something that is very auspicious. The inauspicious body, which is impure, inauspicious, by those traditional, ways. I mean, you may not like to call it, and we don't have to insist that is, but then, from some standpoint, body is impure, inauspicious, at least when it dies. This impure body is the seed of manifestation of the purer than the purest. The inauspicious body is the seed of manifestation of the most auspicious. The mortal body is the seed of manifestation of the immortal. How can you deny that? Swadehe Shobhanam Santam. Shobhanam, which is beautiful, auspicious. Mangalam. In this body there is Mangalam, the auspicious. Purushakyam, which is called Purusha in the scriptures. So, Puri Ushati iti Purusha. The word Purusha is derived from the word Pur, meaning city. Puri Ushati, one that dwells in the city, is called a Purusha. What city? The city of 9 gates. Navadvare Pure Dehi. Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita calls the city, body is city of 9 gates. Puram Ekadashadvaram, Kathovinda calls it the city of 11 gates. In this city, see, when there is city, then there must be also the king. The reason why the body is called city is because when you find that the city is functioning in a very orderly manner, when the city is functioning in an orderly manner, you know that somebody setting the order must be there. Because usually disorder is the nature of things, meaning that if things left to themselves, there will be disorder. When order is there, you know that there must be someone to assert that order. Otherwise, it is nature of things always to go their own way, whoever they are. No order, if no bell rings, it will be very interesting. Somebody comes for lunch at 11:30, somebody 12 o'clock, 12:30, 12:45, 1:30, 1:45, 2:30, 3 o'clock, anytime. If there is no order, disorder is something that is natural, order is something that has to be brought about. So when you find things functioning orderly, you know that there must be someone to assert that order. So body is the city where things are functioning in orderly. The Yoga Shastra describes the body as a city having highways and all kinds of... So what you find in cities all seen here. And functioning systematically. That shows that there must be a presiding principle which makes it all possible. So that is how you can infer when you go to a government office and find everybody is on the desk and diligently appearing to do something anyway. You know that the head of the department must be there. Otherwise, in the home also when you go, then things find here and there and all kinds of... You know the lady of the house is not there. When you find things systematically, in home, you know that she must be there. where is your mother gone? Immediately we ask, So thus, the city is presented as a body to help us recognize the presence of something or that principle which imparts existence to the body, which imparts sentiency to the body, which makes his body so lovable. Body in its own can't be loved. There is no self in the body, then nobody loves. Bharya, Bibbari, Shankaracharya, even the wife also is scared of that body. But then otherwise body is so lovable. What makes it lovable? What makes it existing? What makes it sentient? Someday, look at the body in its own. Svade Shovanam Santam Purushakyam, that Purusha is there, the indweller is there. Sammatam, and that is Sammati. That is the considered opinion or conclusion of all scriptures. So when this is there, Kim Murkha, hey Murkha, Kim Atmanam Shunyam Karoshi Bhoho. Why do you make the Atma non-existent? Dehati, it is true. That body is not the Atma. But the body is the seat of something that transcends the body. Atma has no connection with the body, true. Self transcends the body. Nevertheless, the body is the seat or place of manifestation of the self that transcends the body. This is very important. Just because self manifests in the body doesn't mean it's connected to the body. Like the sun that gets reflected in the water. Looks like there's a connection between the sun and the water. No connection. However, the reflection of the sun makes the water what? Bright. If that bucket of water you place in a dark room and from an aperture the sun rays coming, falling on the water surface, reflection, then the room gets illumined. There is something that gives the brightness to the water, although not connected with it. Sun transcends the water, is it not so? If you pour away water, you do anything, nothing happens to sun. Similarly, hey Murkha, hey Shunyavadi, that which transcends the body manifests through his body. The body is not Atma. That doesn't mean that body is useless. Body serves an extremely important purpose. What's the important purpose? That it is seat of the manifestation of Atma. That is most auspicious. The inauspicious is the seed of manifestation of the most auspicious. The impure, seed of manifestation, the most pure. The unreal is seed of manifestation of the real. And therefore, it is possible to reach that which manifests. The body can become also a means of reaching that which transcends the body. And that is the use of body. And so, Kim Murkha, Dehatino Atmanam Sunyam Karoshi Voho, that you are declaring Atma Shunya, non-existent, just because it transcends the body, therefore you call it non-existent. Just because body is not the Atma, does it mean there is no Atma? Don't you realize that there is something that transcends the body? And the transcending principle is very evident in life. Atma, the transcendental principle, is nevertheless very much effective or very much functioning in our life. Because without that transcendental principle, this body would not exist, would not breathe, would not live, that it is, shows that there is some principle. How can you deny that? How can you deny the existence of Atma? Okay, continuing the verse 30. So, nanu shunyavadina eva abhavapatte. The thing is, you know what happens is, when that fellow says there is no Atma, when somebody says there is no Atma, what is Atma? Atma means I understand. So when he says there is no Atma, he's saying there is no I am not that. That's what he's saying, understand? The Shunyavadi does not realize that he is in fact denying his own existence, you know. So Shunyavadina eva abhavapatte. Shunyavadi does not realize that by claiming that Atma is Shunya, non-existent, that he is declaring that I don't exist. And so that doesn't make sense anyway. Even to Shunyavadi it would not make sense to say that I am not. Although he does not realize the meaning of what he is declaring, when he declares there is no Atma, in effect he is saying that there is no I. Then he is saying I am not there, which is ridiculous because you can't say I am not there if you are not. That means that Atma is Shunya, non-existent. He is totally a contradiction. So forget about him. Shunya mas, all right. We accept Atma is not Shunya. Atma is an existent entity. Why? When you say that there is no Atma, we have to ask, are you there or not? When somebody says, I don't believe in God, there is no God, our simple question should be, don't try to prove God is up there, existent or creator, sustainer. Don't bother about that. When somebody says, I don't believe in God, ask him, do you believe in yourself? Are you there or not? Do you exist? Are you there? Yes? Okay, then God is there. The kind of God that you don't accept, we may not accept. The God that we are talking about, nobody can deny. Because the denier cannot deny himself. And God is the very truth of the denier. So you can't deny. So shunyam mastu. Parantu atmanah dehatitatve pramana abhavat. But what's the proof? What's the evidence that there is a transcendental self? Dehatitam. You see that Atma transcends the body. So we accept that body is not Atma and Shunya is not Atma. What is the evidence that there is a transcendental self? So Pramana Abhavat Deha eva Atma syat. Because there is no evidence of a transcendental self, thereby we come back to saying that body alone is Atma. How can you deny that? So you can deny body is not Atma provided you can present an evidence of the Atma that transcends the body. There is no such evidence. All that Atma is not Shunya, non-existent. No, there is no non-existent Atma, no there is transcendental Atma, non-existent because I exist. No transcendental because there is no proof or evidence. So we come back to say what? Deha eva Atma, body alone is Atma. What will you say to that? So next one says, Swatmanam shrunumurkhatvam Shrutya yuktya cha purusham. That pu must be dirgha, although this one is in the text, the pu is rasva, it should be dirgha, means long. Shrutya yuktya cha purusham Dehatitam sadakaram Sudurdarsham bhavadrushai. Again, so this is how they carry out the debate. Shastrartha, This is a typical Shastrartha, means the debate upon the meaning of Shastra or the scripture. So when that fellow said that, all right, I accept that Atma is not non-existent, but since there is no evidence of a transcendental Atma, therefore I say that body is Atma. What do you have to say? Murkhatvam shrunu. Again, you are a stupid person. Listen. Who is murkha? Who is stupid? One who just denies what is evident. When lots of proof is there, evidence is there, and to claim that there is no evidence itself is murkhata. Bho murkha, dehatmavadin charvaka, hey dehatmavadi, oh you who claims deha or body to be atma, listen. Svatmanam tvam shrutya yuktya ja purusham. See, that pu dirgha is merely for the purpose of meter. The word is purusha where pu is rasva. But if the pu is rasva, then the meter would not fit. Shrutya yuktya ja purusham. No. Shrutya yuktya ja purusham. So for the purpose of meter, sometimes you have to distort something. Even Bhagavad Gita also. In one place, Lord Krishna also uses the word purusham. Pu is dirgha. Like the musicians, they distort everything. When they sing, everything is distorted. And that's it's a murder. When they take a Sanskrit thing and then sing, it's just terrible. You require a really enlightened musician to be able to maintain the proper pronunciation of Sanskrit and then still sing in. That can be done, but that would, that is very rare. You can find a Subbalakshmi to do that. That is there also when you go to really real classical music, then it gets compromised. Anyway, for the music is more important. To us, that Sanskrit is very important. Therefore, you don't like to see it being compromised and twisted and turned for the sake of, and so, whatever. But sometimes you have to do. So, Swatmanam, Swakiyam your own self. Purusham. So, the thing is, the one who dwells in the city is not the city, understand? The king, who is the indweller of the city, is not the city. The city may expand, the king does not expand. When with battle, and the city may contract when somebody takes over parts of it, but the king does not contract. Meaning that the changes taking place in the city do not in any way affect the king, isn't right? He remains independent of the city. You can say it transcends the city. So how the city houses something that transcends it. So Swatmanam Purusham Dehatitam. Purusham is Dehatita. Purusham is that indweller of the body. Indweller who is not the body, who is different from the body. Indweller means what? Indweller must be different from dwelling, is it not so? Indweller, the dweller, must be different from the dwelling. So Atma is a dweller. Purusha is what? The one who dwells in the city of the body. That thing itself declares it to be different from the city. You understand? So Purusha means what? One that is different from the city of the body. Dehatitam, dehatiriktam. So king is just as different from the city. So also, if Atma is called Purusha by the scriptures, means that he is different from the city of the body, where body means both gross and subtle bodies. So Shruti says that. What did he say? Tasmad va etasmad atmana andara samayad anyontara atma. So Taittiriya Upanishad leads us to the true nature of Atma. Where first the Upanishad says the body is the Atma. Sava esha Purusha annarasamaya. Taittiriya says that Purusha, this annarasamaya, This gross body, which is the modification of the essence of food, is Atma. Alright? So I meditate, I realize, yes, this body I am. When that happened, then it says, now listen to me. Tasmad va etasmad andarasamayat anyondar atma pranamaya. Your body all right, but tasmad va etasmad andarasamayat anya antaha, different from this andaras body, within the body is another self, pranamaya, made of prana. Understand the body is alive because of prana. So prana is the self of the body. So other than the body, within the body, there is other self, which is pranamaya, made of prana. So that way, Taittiriya Upanishad declares that body is not the Atma. See, first having declared that body is Atma, that's where they stop. See, your Upanishad is body is Atma. But you read further. Next sentence is that other within the body, other than the body, there is a self made of prana, the vital air. In effect, therefore, declaring that the body is not the Atma. So Shruti says the body is not the Atma. You are looking for evidence, isn't it? Shruti is one evidence. Then what? Shrutya, yuktya. Lot of yuktis are there which we already provided and we'll provide again. Yukti means reasoning. It stands to reason that body is not the Atma. Because the word Atma itself implies Atma means apnoti the Atma. That which is all pervasive. Or atati the Atma. That which is consistently there. That's called Atma. So this word Atma is explained as derived in different ways. And atati iti Atma, at satatye. So that santatam, that which constantly exists is Atma. The body does not constantly exist, so that cannot be Atma. So yuktya, by yukti also will show you by reasoning also. Shrunu murkhatvam shrutyayutyaja purusham dehatitam sadakaram. Dehatitam, that which is unconnected to the body, which transcends the body. Then what is this nature? Sadakaram, the akara of the nature of Sat or existence. Astite tad matra vyavahara karana bhutam. Hey, understand this, that whenever you say something is, what makes it possible for you to use the word is? What makes it possible for you to use the word is? Pot is, cloth is, body is, anything is. You know what enables you, what facilitates you to employ the word is? It is the Atma that is of the nature of existence, because of which you are able to say something is. Sadakaram. Asti iti vyavahara karanabhutam. The vyavahara means shabda prayoga. Pot is, cloth is, hall is, body is. This is called vyavahara means shabda. This is the expression that we use. What enables you to use that expression? That pot is. When ease is there, that ease is Atma. Which is, therefore, it pervades everything, because wherever anything is, the ease is. Is it not so? By the way, you know the United States is, the sky is, the stars are, the galaxies are. R means is. The plural of is. So wherever isness is there, Atma is there. Apnoti Atma, that pervades everything, that enables us to use the expression something is. Sadakaram. Only Sat alone is Akara. Pure exists in the Akara of the nature of which enables us. So therefore, whenever you use the expression is, automatically we are accepting Atma being there. Sadakar, Vihara, Karan, Bhutam. Oh, is that what it is? Then evam bhuta chet kuto na drishyate. He asks us, if Atma is like that, Purusha, Dehatita, Sadakara, how come I don't see it? So those people who accept what is perceptible as existing, for them, if something existed, it should be perceptible. What is not perceptible does not exist. So you say Atma is, had Atma been there, why should you to perceive it? How come I don't perceive it? Sudurdarsham means what? Very difficult to be seen. Bhavadrushai, for fellows like you. Not difficult to see, but difficult to see Bhavadrushai, by the people like you. Who have concluded there is no Atma? Who concluded there is body is Atma? Who concluded there is nothing exists that cannot be perceived? Who accept perception as only pramana or means of knowledge? Who do not accept Shruti or Shabda as a pramana? For you, Sudadarsham, meaning that extremely difficult to see. Just because fellows like you cannot see that does not mean that it is not there. So, I don't believe in God, I don't accept God. Show me if there is God. All right. So I asked him, do you hear the music in this hall? Do you hear the songs in this hall? No, Swami. You do not hear them. Does it mean they are not there? Of course. Bring a transistor. Tune up to Vividha Bharati or whatever, And then you hear the songs. You could not have heard the song unless it was there. But then, right now you are not prepared to hear them because you are not prepared. It's not that you cannot hear because it is not there. You cannot hear because you are not evolved to a point where you can hear. Similarly, with the mind that you have right now, which is so extrovert and so gross and so denying, such a denier, there's no way that with this mind you can appreciate that. You start with Atma is, then slowly you'll get that mind. Astityobalabdavya. And so, asti, first acceptance, is accept that it is. Then tattva bhavena chobhaya. Then of course you will know. So first recognize that Ishvara is, Atma is, Brahman is. Then tattva bhavena. Then you recognize Brahman, I am Brahman. First asti and then asmi. If I am Brahman, how come I don't recognize? First recognize Brahman is. Astityopalabdavya. You have to begin from this, that it is. Unless you start from there, there is no way that you can recognize. Because you already denied it. If you deny the existence, how can you ever see it? How can you ever know it? So if you want to know it, start from what? It is. Nirvachana manasa. What is apshakyo na chakshusha? Aptum shakyo na chakshusha. Nirvachana manasa. Not by words, not by mind, not by sense organs. So just because you can't describe something in words, you cannot pursue the sense organs, you cannot visualize in mind, doesn't mean it is not there. So this is the thing. Astiti brodonyatra katham tadupalabhyate. That principle, how can it be known by someone other than someone who says it is not there? So it can be known only by someone who says it is there, who believes it is there, who accepts it is there. That's how Kathopanishad shows the process. Astiti brotonyatra katham tudupalapyate. For someone other than who accepts that it is, how is it possible for you to see? When you deny the very existence, how can you ever even, there is no ground to even see it or experience it or know it? Astityovalabdhavya tattvabhavena chobhayoho. Astiti. So when asti is recognized, then tattvabhava, then you recognize the true nature. You know what happens? Kathopanishad says this, this is Upanishad saying. That when you accept that Brahman is, Ishvara is, tattvabhava prasidati, then tattvabhava, that Brahman, the truth, prasidati, becomes favorable to you. You can know something provided it becomes favorable to you. It cannot be that is then you are turned, no way you can know. Face to face, favor means what? That you want to see some, suppose that turns away, then also you cannot know. You want to see somebody, and that also favors you by showing themselves to you. Is it not so? So similarly also, even God, call it Atma, God. Tattvabhava prasidati. For the one who says asti, to that person, the Brahman or the truth becomes favorable. It reveals itself. So start from there. There's a denial. There's no way that you can ever know it today or tomorrow. You accept it. Accept it not in words. Let that reflect in your life. Accept it. I believe in God. Then why do you tell a lie? Hey, God means truth. If you believe in God, there is truth in your life. I believe in God. That means that God is dharma. Then you say you believe in God. You can't say I believe in God and do what you want to do. I know she is my mother. So what? If she knows your mother, I expect, some respect and reverence from you. Then use the word mother, whatever. When you don't, that means these are all lip service. So people say, I believe in God. That doesn't reflect in the life. It should reflect in the life. When you believe in God, then you know that God is the witness of everything. He is witnessing all my thoughts and all my actions, and therefore, how can I act as I want? When I'm in presence of a very reverential person, I'm behaving in a respectful manner, is it not so? When Puja Swami is there, then we behave in a certain way. When he's not there, it's a different matter. Then we have even the true colors, But then in his presence. So when you say that, yes, I know this is Swami, then we expect, the response according to your statement, meaning that you must walk the talk. So when you say, I believe in God, it should not become a lip service. That should reflect in your life. Meaning God should pervade in your life. Your life should become godly. Then God will reveal Himself as yourself. So, that's why the discussion asti. We start with asti. So, you are denying the very existence. Surdarsham bhadrushahi. For fellows like you, who deny the very existence, how can you ever know? It is extremely difficult for those who deny the existence. That's why it's called murkha. Hey, you are denying the very reality by this proclaiming it that there is no Atma. So, there was a king, his name was Bhoja, and then one day he asked his minister, who is the greatest fool in our city? So then the minister was a wise person, and they looked at many fools, all kinds of fellows were there. Then they finally came to this fellow. He's sitting in a branch. And you know what he's doing? He's cutting the very branch on which he's sitting. There cannot be a greater fool than this. So when you say Atma is not, cutting the very branch on which you are existing. Murkha, that's why it's called murkha. This is, oh fool. You are denying the purpose of life. You're denying the very, the pursuit for which the life is. And that's why it's called murkhan. Okay. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.